My Jupiter's jumping.
Look, Niagara Falls. Why don't you two go on a honeymoon? I'll bring the barrel. No. Hold her tighter. Be passionate. You love her. Pretend you love my cleave to lipstick.
Pretend? You sound like my roommate. You don't look like him.
Oh, Rick. Sounds like murder. Sherlock. Murder. A Murdoch.
We watched Artists and Models, 1955, directed by Frank Tashlin, starring Jerry Lewis, Dean Martin, and for the first time in any movie ever, I believe, Shirley MacLaine.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, what a cast.
What a catch.
Yeah, and there's Artists and Models, directed by Frank Tashlin, who directed most of the best Jerry Lewis movies I think most of the best Jerry Lewis movies. There's a couple of the other really good ones were directed by Lewis himself, but Tashlin had this very intuitive understanding of Jerry Lewis, I think, that translated very well to their work together because of Tashlin's earlier work as an animator. He started out in the Looney Tunes studio.
Oh, really?
I believe, yeah. So he
understood the kind of physical comedy that only Bugs Bunny and folks could do.
Yeah, he understands that Lewis puts literally no value on realism whatsoever, and the way to get the most out of Jerry Lewis when you're filming him, at this point would be to have a time machine, but if we're going back 65 years, the best way to do it is to just sort of follow the weird sight gag, even if it doesn't make sense, because there's a lot of very long sequences in Jerry Lewis movies, because I watched 45 Jerry Lewis movies instead of going on dates when I was in college. Well known fact. No, I had. Did I ever tell you the story? There was this absolutely just gorgeous woman comes up to me in a bar in Brooklyn when I was in college, and she walks up, and I'm like, she's not gonna. She walks up, and she says, "What you thinking about?" And I'm 21. I don't know how to talk to my parents, much less women, and so I think to myself, I'm like, okay, what am I actually thinking about right now? And the thing I was thinking was, and so I said to her, did you know that Jerry Lewis did a Holocaust movie? And she looked at me, and I guess she either did or didn't want to remember, and that was the end of that conversation. But bizarrely though, this is the best of the movies they made together, even though it's right before probably the worst of the movies they made together, just because the overall vibe is so nasty.
Wait, are you saying this is the movie in which they're the worst together?
No, this is the best, and then the one right after it is the worst Martin and Lewis movie called Hollywood or Bust.
Okay.
Which is really weird because they were making 3 movies a year, so it's a difference of 2 months. But at the time the movie was made, Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin were the 2 most popular entertainers in the United States of America, period. They had top 10 TV show, top 10 radio show, best-selling movies. Martin was a best-selling recording artist, and he had gigs where he was doing, he was singing in Vegas. And Jerry Lewis, I don't know if Jerry Lewis ever did any solo gigs. And then of course Martin had a very successful career as an actor after the duo split up.
Okay.
And so what I really like, there's a lot of things I really like about this movie, Artists and Models, that is. But I think, because I've seen it a couple times, but I'm kind of curious, what stuck out to you, because...
What stuck out to me about this movie?
Yeah, what kind of takeaway did you... have? Because I know you're not
each other?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Besides that, there was some serious.
There was some
serious gay shit going on. That's how I sum up the movie. Maybe their entire career together.
Well, and I think that's the thing I love about the Martin and Lewis movies is that, yeah, you have that, like, all the tension, because the scripts themselves, there's some clever lines, there's some clever situations, although not as many as one would hope for. But what really drives the movies, what drives the Colgate Comedy Hour, both in the TV form and the radio form, is this weird kind of Jerry can't figure out whether he's sexually attracted to Dean Martin or he thinks Dean Martin is his father. Dean Martin is more repressed about it, but also can't figure out whether he's sexually attracted to Jerry Lewis or thinks of Jerry Lewis as like this younger brother or son type figure. And that gets played for, I mean, watching this stuff now after, like, you know, Rock Hudson's Home movies and like having just seen a lot of other movies and recognizing what subtext is, holy crap. Like, when I first saw this, I was like, oh man, those guys like really love each other. And like this time I'm like, this is like gayer than the Rock Hudson Douglas Sirk movies.
Yeah, and we're sitting there watching Dean Martin take a bath, and we're just waiting for Jerry Lewis to actually jump into the bath and with him, and he does, and that's
and
they play together,
and that's the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah,
they're doing it under a sheet, and it looked and like the camera lingers at it. It looks like it's just Jerry Lewis having sex under a sheet.
Yeah, it looks like
for like a good at least 5-10 seconds, and then of course there's the infamous collar gag, which we both were like falling off the couch.
Yeah, at that point we were just waiting for these things to come up.
You want to describe that?
Sure. Well, should we talk about the whole movie first, or whole
the tie
movie?
Gag? We should probably we'll talk about the tie gag, and then we'll go through the plot. I guess.
Okay, that sounds
such
good.
as it were.
Do I want to talk about the tie gag?
I figure we should explain what the tie gag is.
Yeah. So Jerry Lewis is getting dressed. They're going to a gala, and he has a nice shirt on, and he has a dickie. Is this the one?
Mm-hmm.
I imagine this is the one. There's no other one quite like it.
There's no other.
And the dickie is curled up in front of his face, and he pushes it down, and it bounces right back up. And it pushes down, it bounces right back up, and then Dean Martin comes in and he tries to help him with it, and he helps it put it back down, and starts to like.
He does it like 2 or 3 times. Like the second time, he almost puts his hand down Lewis's pants practically.
Yeah, first he fumbles with his button a little bit, right? He fumbles with the pants before putting it down, and then I don't remember the exact quote. It pops back up.
I know that. Yeah, my dickie won't stay down, Ricky.
Ta-da! And so
and
now
then it just cuts right to something else. Like
no, the scene continues because he finally gets it down. Dean Martin leaves, and then it pops back up.
They always leave right after.
Yeah. Not even a smoke or anything. Just boom. Boom. So the whole movie pretty much leads up to that as the grand climax, and then it's all downhill from there.
Yeah, pretty much. Although that is pretty close to the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It's
and it's pretty close to a climax.
It's Dean Martin. He seems very comfortable. Dean Martin seems like exceptionally fluid in this movie.
Yeah, in this movie he gets the guy and the girl at the same time.
Yeah. He gets like 2 girls, and then he gets like that Russian lady. He's just got like ladies throwing themselves all over him. But,
yeah.
Like the only person that he actually wants to go home to is Jerry Lewis.
And they even have
at the end of the day,
his
fool
roommate.
around a little bit, but
it's his roommate. They're roommates, literally. They both live in the same room with twin beds next to each other, sort of like in like I Love Lucy when Ricky and Lucy had 2 beds separate from each other.
They have shared finances.
Oh yeah,
it's implied. They have shared. Dean Martin expects Jerry Lewis to cook him dinner when he comes home.
You what? Oh, I'm all set to make you dinner. How would you like your beans?
Preferably out of the can. Beans.
No, sometimes I think about girls, too.
I think about girls, too. That's about all. Just think about them. You know, on account of you, I'm going to be an old maid.
Mm-hmm.
And they kiss each other.
They do several times.
Several times.
Maybe we're imposing a 2020, well, maybe more like a 1980s a view of gender roles and sexual orientation onto a movie from, what did you say, 55?
Yeah,
56?
55.
Yeah, something that wasn't there. Back when men could sleep with each other and make out with each other and so on and push down their dickies without it being gay in any way.
Well,
I mean, Rock Hudson didn't think any of that stuff was gay.
I thought the misreading of all those Douglas Sirk, Rock Hudson, all that heaven allows. Heaven allows a lot, but it's not allowing any of that malarkey. Let me tell you now. But, no, they were both very gay.
Yeah. All right. So what's the movie about?
So
wait, Dean Martin was gay?
Oh, Dean. Well. So Jerry Lewis wrote a couple of memoirs later in his life. He also wrote a book on how to direct movies in the 60s. It's pretty... if you're making a movie, it's honestly really useful.
Oh, you serious?
Yeah. He actually... Jerry Lewis invented... you know how they have that little TV monitor that shows you what the camera's recording as, like, the camera's recording it on, like, a film set or a TV set? They always got that little TV monitor next to the camera.
Yeah.
He invented that.
No kidding.
Yeah, because he needed to know how the shots looked, so he set up a video camera right next to the film camera.
Okay.
So he would get an almost duplicate of the shot, but on video, which was way cheaper to get, like, just kind of stuff that wasn't going to be used in the final product. And also, like, you can play video back immediately, whereas film, you have to process it. You got to
Yeah, wow. Jerry Lewis, innovator.
But the book that he wrote about his relationship with Dean Martin was called Dean and Me, A Love Story.
Oh.
Me? What are you doing in the top?